In the Pits is partnered with QBR. Are you seeking to heal and recover from the toll that paintball puts on the mind and body? QBR has the solution for you. Head to QBRofficial.com and use code PITS10 for 10% off of your order plus free shipping. QBR, they don't sell broccoli. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Águilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these golden eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with 71 Designs, owned and operated by veteran Wade Martin, and partnered with fellow Texas brand Compete. 71 Designs can take your ideas for soft goods, merchandise, and casual wear and make them a reality. Message 71 Designs on Facebook or Instagram to get started today. In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including first-place semi-pro team, PaintballFit.com. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of Paintball Fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, and even Youth 3v3. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous paintball munching contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with TexanHemp.com, locally shipped cannabis seeds. In a world where saving time means making money, TexanHemp.com, a local cannabis seed bank owned and operated by local Texas pro player Jared Sherman, is making waves by becoming the go-to source for all cannabis genetics in Texas. Carrying a large assortment of cannabis cultivars, including Texas-approved varieties for use in the Texas Hemp Program, high THCA seeds for novelty use, as well as premium genetics bred for solventless extraction, TexanHemp.com has the ability to satisfy even the most sophisticated collectors. Head to TexanHemp.com and use code INTHEPITS for 10% off of your orders. In the Pits is partnered with BEM Wraps. Behind every mask is a unique and creative player. Tap into it when you order your next custom headpiece. Their Build-A-Band lets you communicate with them one-on-one to make your order just the way you want, all the way down to the color of the stitch. Check out their Instagram at BEMWraps for drops and build videos of them working on orders. They offer very competitive pricing, so reach out today to get started on your own one-of-a-kind headpiece. In the Pits is partnered with Compete. Compete is a Texas-based brand by Jell Stewart of professional team AC Diesel that provides custom jerseys, pants, headbands, straps, tech shirts, and any other soft goods to help individuals and teams compete at the highest level. Support Texas Paintball and message Compete on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits Podcast for 10% off your entire order. In the Pits is partnered with the San Antonio 3v3 Paintball Series. The series provides local players with an affordable, fun opportunity to experience the excitement of tournament paintball. Visit SAT3PB.com for details on upcoming events. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot is now scheduling photo and reels coverage for teams competing in the upcoming NXL Windy City Major. Head to GetDat_shot on Instagram to check out his previous work or to shoot him a message to secure your media coverage today. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 123 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and new special guest. I'm Christian Dallas Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans. In this episode, we are going to give a send-off to all 58 Texas teams competing in the NXL World Cup, as well as giving our predictions for the Pro Bracket and Series winners. So, just like I have done for previous send-offs, we're going to go through the rosters one by one for every single Texas team in every single division. Starting off, we have Division 5 X-Ball, which is brought to us by XTPL Events. First, we have Helotus Fusion out of X Factor. We have Daniel Alvarado, Tyler Chipman, Chris Contreras, Zach Diaz, Daniel Diaz, Derek Garza, Joel Hara, Jacob Johnson, Garrett Scopel, Michael Villarreal, and Ryan Zaguire. Or Zaguire. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, and again, I apologize if I mispronounce your name or anyone's name throughout the course of this evening. We're going to be reading a lot of names. And on staff, we've got Trent Biggs, Taylor Chipman, Anthony Kiris, Carl Kiris, and Clara Rauschuber. Good luck to Helotus Fusion. And we have two Texas teams in the Division 5 X-Ball Champions Cup. First up, we have the Gunners out of X Factor Paintball Park. We have John Butler, Antonio Fernandez, Garrett Garst, Tim McGregor, Nick McKenna, Brian Padilla, Rafael Rivera, Corey Sepulveda, Robert Shelton, and Kelson Walker. And on staff, you have Ricardo Fernandez, Holly McKenna, Andrea Salazar, Jesse Stevens, Jonathan Trevino, and Kenny Walker. Good luck to the Gunners out of X Factor Paintball Park. And our last Division 5 X-Ball team from Texas, also in the Champions Cup is Shut Up the Trying from Paintball Fit. We have David Budney, Patrick Garcia, Jordan Jameson, Austin Oakes, Andrew Ramos, Colton Safford, and Kellen Siney. Good luck to Shut Up Their Trying out of Paintball Fit. Up next, we have Division 4 X-Ball brought to us by QBRofficial.com. We have, here, let me pull up all the teams as we're going here. So we got Austin Notorious D4 out of Outlaw. Next, we have, let's see, Deadly Defiance. There we go. Out of Legends Paintball. The Evil out of Paintball Fit. Let me make sure I get everybody. Gangster out of Legends. Let's see. PB Gateway 1 out of DFW Adventure Park. Where you are. There you are, PB Gateway 1. The Reapers out of El Paso. Texas Cyclone out of Legends in Houston. And then Veteran Militia Hotel. And then, of course, the Texas Titans D4 in the Champions Cup bye. So we'll do that there. Justin, are you there? Yes, sir. We can hear you. Here, let's go ahead and talk about your team. So Evil came out of seemingly nowhere at the NXL Lone Star Major to take first place in Division 4 X-Ball. And you guys also are, I believe you're coming off of a podium finish in the USXBL championships. Is that right? I got fourth. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. It'd be like that. Oh yeah. So tell us more about I guess what Evil has been doing since that event, how you guys have been getting ready for the World Cup. I love it. So, with the core of your group having been together for so long and actually having some prior D1 experience, how have you seen both the competition at USXBL and on the NXL level has changed in the current year compared to the level that it was, 10 years ago? Sweet. Tell me a little bit about the new faces that you have going into this event. I believe that's everyone as well. So yeah, you've got a lot of faces that have been around a very long time in the game, and then on your staff, you also have most of the Diesel roster as well as John Jackson. Are they going to be helping you guys out at all in the pits? I love it. So you're going the what is it? The Upton 187 approach there. Perfect. Well, you guys are definitely going to ruin someone's day at the World Cup. I mean, if they are thinking it's going to be a cakewalk just because, like, oh, we've played one event this season, you might not necessarily have like the series ranking to be a higher seed going into the event, but we're expecting a deep run from you guys for sure. Yeah, for sure. Well, it sounds like a great group to be a part of. So we're wishing you good luck next weekend, and yeah, safe travels. All right. Yeah, thanks for coming on. All right, so that is Team Evil out of Paintball Fit. We also have Austin Notorious D4 coming at us from Outlaw Paintball Park. We've got Austin Arguelles, Caleb Clow, Mikey Son's playing on Notorious. There we go. Kendrick Lofton, Chuck Neagle, Travis Patton, Robert Quintanilla, Christopher Rivas, Shane Scarborough, and Sterling Seymour. And on staff, you've got Mark Franz and Marky Franz. Good luck to Austin Notorious D4. You've got Deadly Defiance coming at you from Paintball Zone. You got Timothy Curtis, Will Kellogg, Wing Kwong, River Lacey, Josh Nguyen, Jonathan Solis, Cliff Shivers, Travis Tucker, and Cooper Weaver with Viet Tran, on staff. Good luck to Deadly Defiance. Up next, we have Team Gangster out of Houston, picking up an all-new line for this one. Looks like lots of international bodies. Good to see. So we got Hector Crespo, Mario Manrique, William Delgado, Luis Lugo, Luis Pimentel, Oliver Perez, Jonathan Ramirez, and Lemuel Santiago with Richard Quiles and Ulises Velasquez on staff. Good luck to Gangster. Up next, we got PB Gateway 1 coming at us from DFW Adventure Park. You got Jared Bourgeois or Bourgeois, or I love saying your last name and I love getting it wrong. Sorry, Jared. Corey Gabbard, Chris Harrison, Kyle Kerr, then Nguyen, Chris Odom. Ooh, Chris Odom making an appearance. Hogan Pearson, Luke Staley, and Logan Williams. And on staff, we got Riley Dodson, Thomas Freeman, and Pritchett Sritsong-suk. Good luck to PB Gateway 1. Up next, we've got the Reapers out of El Paso. You've got Austin Bean, Ivan Consolo, Jonathan Levy, Angela Madrigal, Julian Ruiz, Randy Singh, Victor Velasquez, and Matthew Willits. On staff, you've got Selim Consolo. Good luck to the El Paso Reapers. Up next, you got Texas Cyclone coming at us from Texas Legends Paintball in Houston. We've got Carlos Cartagena, Luis Guzman, Joel Kurtz, Aiden Medley, Cole Newman, Eric O'Hadi, Cameron Stiles, and Jacob Thompson with Tammy Newman on staff. Good luck to Texas Cyclone. And then we've got Veteran Militia Hotel. And on Veteran Militia, you've got Evan Frank, John Garrison, Dre Helms, Nicholas Johnson, Rob Kelly, Michael Moquin, Nick Ontiveros, Josue Rios, Troy Savage, and Ralph Woods with, of course, Chris Rangel, who is D3? Who let that happen? So you've got, there's Veteran Militia Hotel. Good luck to Veteran Militia. And then in the Champions Cup bye, we have the Texas Titans D4. And coming at us from X Factor Paintball Park, Texas Titans were originally 5th in the series, if you saw my previous post as far as the NXL series picture, but PAG Factory out of Canada is opting not to attend the World Cup, so Texas Titans got bumped up into the Champions Cup. We have Ryan Croson, Brandon Gallegos, Brandon Lyons, Ruben Maldonado, Jerry Pascal, Damon Rippey, Jason Saldana, and Dane Webb. And then myself and Dylan Strickland are on staff. Good luck to my boys on the Texas Titans D4. All right. Up next, brought to us by Pod Runners Union and SAT 3v3. By the way, if you have not registered for the Turkey Shoot 3v3, which will be after Thanksgiving, or no, either after Thanksgiving or before Thanksgiving, but it's going to be pretty quick after Cup. Go sign up. The spots are filling up pretty quick. In Division 3 X-Ball, we have Houston Hate, ODK, Outlaws Destruction Crew out of Outlaw and Pflugerville, Outlaw Anodizing Paintball D3 out of Wasteland, Veteran Militia Bravo and Kilo, and in the Champions Cup bye, you've got the Texas Titans. So let me find all of these real quick. Testing to make sure you can still hear me. All right, so you've got Houston Hate, Outlaws Destruction Crew, Outlaw APD3, the 2 Veteran Militia units, And then, of course, the Texas Titans in D3 champions. Okay, so on Houston Hate, we have Keith Brewer, Aaron Friedman, Josh Kroon, Colton McCoon, Travis Nance, Tyler Nunn, Chase Reed, and Matt Toulin. And on staff, Jacob Seabaugh. Good luck to Houston Hate. Next, we have the Outlaws Destruction Crew, ODK out of Pflugerville. Nicholas Gayoso, Joel Hoffman, Tay Lee, Kyle Mason, Jacob Miller, Morgan Mills, Benji Schrader, Jacob Thomas, and Will Weems. With on staff, Bell Harris, Jason Hawkins, and Nico Hyde is listed there. Good luck to ODK. Up next, we have Outlaw APD3 out of Wasteland. In Houston, we have Hunter Cherry, David Cruz, David Harden, Scott Perkins, Ryan Podesta. Ooh, Ryan Podesta getting picked up. All right, good to see him on a Texas team. Joseph Scalia, Kenny Stewart, Tom Van Ornum, Tim Watson, and Luke Webb. With on staff, you've got, of course, Philip Middleton and Cedric Rios. Good luck to Outlaw APD3. Up next, Veteran Militia Bravo, Christopher Beasley, Craig Bennett, Cody Kipro, Christian Cox, Richard Crow, Wesley Idle, Michael Payne, Chris Rangel, Hunter Reardon, Dylan Rogge, Daniel Truesdale, and Christopher Wells. And on staff, you've got Jason Reel and Ryan Sartor. On Veteran Militia Kilo, you have Kyle Antozuski, Devin Bray, Richard Kessinger, Joshua Keys, Edwin Kruer, Tyler Lawhorn, Joshua Morissette, Sergio Padilla, Charles Rosa, Dennis Scardino, and Zach Wilkes. And on staff, you've got Jacob Miller, Chris Rangel, and Jacob Thomas. Good luck to Veteran Militia. And then, of course, the team I will be playing on, the Texas Titans, in the Champions Cup for D3 X-Ball. You've got Ryan Connors, Alex Crow, Josh DeLeon, Thomas Fust, Leo Lamas, Michael Lundgren, Lane Myers, Dylan Strickland, and myself, with Chris Martinez on staff. Good luck to all of our Texas teams competing in Division 3 X-Ball at World Cup. Up next, brought to us by BEMRAPS, which, by the way, shout out to BEMRAPS. Had an order that I placed with them very recently, and I'm very satisfied with it. So thank you, Brandon and Megan. I'm sure the reception for that package will go very well. So let's see. We have two Texas teams in Division 2 X-Ball. First, we have the Beefy Boys out of Paintball Fit, the USXBL Series champions. You've got Angel Alarcon, Paul Ime, Christopher Jocelyn, Joseph Petruselli, Luke Puchalski, Jonathan Schaffner, Thorne Smith, and Gabe Sutherland. And on staff, you've got Robert Kramer, Jeremy Doan, Garrett Huffstetter, Mikia Paul, and Tyler Shepers. Good luck to the Beefy Boys. And out of Houston, Wasteland Paintball Park, we've got Outlaw AP Warriors in Division 2 X-Ball. Bradley Hamstangle, Cameron Handyside, Deshaun Newth, Kyoki Lapina, Bailey Robles, Norris Ross, Landon Stavina, Cody Stone, Brandon Unger, okay, and Ashton Wright. And on staff, we've got Jeremy Brown, Corey Field, Chad Figurado, of course, Philip and Tyler Middleton, Jessica Stavina, and Jody Wright. Good luck to our Texas Division 2 teams, Beefy Boys and Outlaw AP Warriors. Up next, we have the Semi-Pro Division, which, by the way, if you are listening and you play on a Texas team and would like to come on the show and hype up your squad, please send me a direct message either on Facebook or Instagram. Actually, preferably Facebook, just because I have it open here on my computer and I'm not really looking at my phone during this. Oh boy. I've got a lot of players on my fantasy roster that are on bye that are starting. Whoops. So anyways, going to Semi-Pro, we have 5 Texas teams competing in the Semi-Pro division at World Cup. We have the Clutch City Oilers out of Houston. Jackpot is making an appearance in the division, jumping up from Division 3. Outlaw AP Factory, Texas Demolition, and Shut Up, We're Trying are all competing out of semi-pro. So first, the Clutch City Oilers out of Houston. You've got Noah Armenta, Dylan Bounds, Christopher Boyd, Jordan Luengas, Luke Massoni, Jake Raffield, AJ Ramos, Andre Ramos Saldana, Josh Safier, and Josh Taylor. And on staff, you've got Miguel Armenta, Bailey Chiron, Neil Idizone, Galen Freeman, Shelby Galipo, Rosalind Hernandez, and AJ Molinari. Up next is Jackpot, splitting time between San Antonio X Factor and Paintball Fit. You've got Lawson Benedict, Matt Blanco, Cameron Blanco, Enrique Garcia, Matt Guzman, Joseph Lonzetta, Matthew Pelto, Jonathan Trevino, and Ernesto Vasquez. Up next, we have Outlaw AP Factory out of Houston, Wasteland Paintball Park. Luke Breedlove, Duran Martinez, Justin Moody, Avery Nguyen, Rylan Robertson, Jonathan Valdivia, Sebastian Viescas, Kaito Warner, and Tyson Williams. And on staff, you've got Philip Middleton, Tyler Middleton, and Maxwell Porcher. Up next, we have Texas Demolition out of the Valley. Victor Abarca, Emmy Flores, new pickup from Balls Out. Mario Guerrera, Devin Lopez, also new pickup from Balls Out. Taylor Munoz, Patrick Rayborn, and Aaron Sines. With on staff, Brianna Abarca, Alexandra Alvarez, Ricardo DeLucio, Yvette Martinez, and Cassandra Rayborn. Finally, we have Shut Up, We're Trying out of Paintball Fit. We have Brandon Allison, Travis Green, Ryan Hilscher, Logan Hansel, Jerry Phillips, Connor Sanders getting picked up from Cap City Charge for the event, and Christopher Tucker. And on staff, we've got Heather Childs, Justin Glidewell, and Brantley Montgomery. Good luck to our 5 Texas semi-pro teams competing at the NXL World Cup. Okay, before we get to the pro division, we've got a couple of other divisions I would like to cover. Let me highlight that. So, up next, in the WNXL Pro Division, the WNXL hasn't played since the Atlantic City Open, or the Atlantic City Major, I should say. We have Dallas Vibe, brought to us by Paintball Kumite. Of course, coming out of Paintball Fit, you have Anne-Marie Alford, Paula Allen, Corinne Baird, Alexis Higgins, Morgan Jackman, Hadley Korsman making a return, Jalen Paredes, Lauren Salinas, Angie Tejeda, and Michaela Wilkins. And then on staff, you've got Rich Addix and Rob. That's a lot of consonants there at the start of that word. I'm sorry, Rob. Siskipankowski. That's my best attempt. So good luck to the Dallas Vibe out of Paintball Fit competing in the WNXL. Up next, brought to us by Jared Sherman over at TexanHemp.com. We're going to cover the youth divisions. So, starting off with the Youth 5v5, we have Countdown Kids from San Antonio X Factor Paintball Park, Hydra Kids from Paintball Fit, and the Rampage Kids from Houston. Countdown Kids, we have Faisal Alia, Alex Amos, Rylan Homier, Jacob Hurst, Michael Leon Guerrero, Trenton Martin, Kelson Walker, and Finn Zaruto. On staff, Eric Amos, Paul Homier, and Jimmy Roman. Up next, the Hydro Kids out of Paintball Fit. You got Aiden Adkins, Bo Bennett, Braxton Greer, Isaiah Harger, Isaac Harger, Kobe Johnson, Hadley Korsman, James Martin, and Nicholas Ross, with Kelly Ross on staff. And finally, you have the Rampage Kids. You have Alexander Greaves, Dylan Jones, Dylan Knapp, Cohen Fan, Leo Salas, and Datu Tuliao, with Jonathan Salas, Jaybird on the staff. Good luck to our Youth 5v5 teams at World Cup. Next, we're going to go into the Youth 3v3 division. We have the Fearsome 5, who have not paid their entry fee yet, but we're going to cover them anyway. Out of Houston, you've got many of the same players as before. Faisal Alia, Cooper Harrison, Connor Hodges, Grayson Manning, making his, I believe this is playing debut for since his recovery has started, and then Tyler Middleton. So this can be an exciting team to watch if they do end up playing and pay their entry. And then, of course, staffed by Philip Middleton. So good luck to our youth division teams at the NXL World Cup. Up next, we are going to be covering the 5-man divisions. So the Division 5 5v5 is... Okay, let's pull them up because we actually have quite a few. So we've got Cartel out of Paintball Fit, Cold-Blooded Pandas from Zooms in College Station, or technically Bryan, Texas, Countdown City from X Factor, Hydra Kids from Paintball Fit, PB Gateway 2 from DFW Adventure Park, and Texas Sannon, also from DFW Adventure Park. At least that's what's listed on their PB Leagues profiles. If they actually play at Paintball Fit, I'm not quite sure, but that's what's listed on their team profile here. So first, we have Cartel Paintball team. We got Benjamin Herrera, Jeremy Johnson, Matthew Monteagudo, Samuel Sandoval, Monte Sandoval, Tanner Shu, Peyton Stern, and Peyton Swartwout. And on staff, we got Sahir Alvarez, Yasmin Alvarez, and Logan Crenshaw. Up next, you have Countdown City from X Factor Paintball Park. Cody Cawley, Paul Homier, Michael Leon Guerrero, Kendrick Lofton, Cesar Ortiz, Nathaniel Reyes, and Cesar Zamora. On staff, you have Aiden Homier, Justin Knowles, and Jimmy Roman. Up next, you have the Cold-Blooded Pandas from Bryan, Texas, out of Zooms Paintball. Robert Allen, Rolando Garza, Matthew Guglielmelli, I think. Laren Montez, Benito Ortiz, John Reagan, Willie Robinson, and Carlos Sanchez with Perry Chance on staff. Hydra Kids, you have Aiden Atkins, Braxton Greer, Isaiah Harger, Kobe Johnson, Hadley Korsman, Caden Korsman, James Martin, and Nicholas Ross, with Isaac Harger and Kelly Ross on staff. Next, PB Gateway 2 out of DFW Adventure Park. You've got Jacob Abatia, Thomas Freeman, Cooper Harrison, Joshua Napier, Chloe Sereno, Dylan Stanton, John Theodore, and Carson Walker. With on staff Robert Abatia, Riley Dodson, and Pritchis Ritonsuk. And lastly, in the D5 5-man division from Texas, we have Texas Sannon out of DFW Adventure Park. You have Andrew Anguiano, Pierre Blackman, Javier Chavez, Jake Delpy, Depp Venon Lit Mixe, Ernest Manning, Josh McIntosh, and Matt Nabby, with Sawyer Crowley and Giovanni Reyes on staff. So good luck to all of our Division 5 5-man teams competing at the NXL World Cup. Up next, we're going to go to Division 4 5-man, brought to us by 71 Designs. So in D4 5-man, we have a few teams. We've got first Cartel from Paintball Fit, Cold-Blooded from Zooms and Bryan, Greed from Paintball Fit, Outlaw AP Sharks out of Wasteland, SUWT from Paintball Fit, and last but not least, the Nobodies from Lost Paintball in San Marcos, which, by the way, if you are tuning in live and I skip over your team, please let me know in the chat and I'll fix it. So, first up, Cartel out of Paintball Fit. You have Jod Alia, Sahir Alvarez, Roberto Herrera, Alexander McDougall, Bryant Mendoza, Tristan Mundy, Mike Ruiz, and Isaiah Williams. Up next, you have Cold-Blooded out of Zooms Paintball. Jackson, Barfnecht, Maxwell Carter, Perry Chance, David Cuervo, Marco Garza, Daniel Kimbrell, and Shane Scarborough, with Rob Bennett, Jason Carter, Chesney Hurley, and C. Joy Kimbrell on staff. Next, you have Greed from Paintball, coming out from Paintball Fit. Justin Hodges, Chris Odom, Jacob Riley, John Samuel, Jason Sim, and Logan Williams with Jason Bonner on staff. You have the Outlaw AP Sharks from Houston, Texas at Wasteland. You've got Mike Hemmingson, Kevin Izaguirre, Tyler Middleton, Norman Middens, David Ratchford, Kalen Wheeler, and Zach Williams with Philip Middleton and Cedric Rios on staff. Next, you have SUWT from Paintball Fit, Jordan Fellon, Brandon Harada, Taylor King, Chad Mosby, Rian Sandoval, and Daniel Sandoval with Justin Glidewell, Shannon Harada, James Harada, Rochelle Harada, and Jerry Phillips all on staff. Finally, you have the Nobodies from Lost Paintball in San Marcos. You have Darian Aguilar, Alex Amos, Marcus Arellano, Cyrus Canales, Brandon Day, Jamari Faison, Rylan Fontana, and Alex Navarro. And on staff, you have Eric Amos, Jorge Garcia, Mike Hall, and Jimmy Roman. Good luck to all of our Division 4 5-man teams coming out of Texas to compete at the NXL World Cup. Finally, to round out our 5-man divisions, we have D3 5-man brought to us by Hydra. We have TKO Texas Knockout from Paintball Fit, Veteran Militia Sierra, and Veteran Militia Zulu. So, from TKO Texas Knockout, we have Alex Agosto, Jose Barcelo, Jace Boyd, Mark Brown, Malik Swalha, Omar Simmons, Jell Stewart, and Peter Stokes with Paula Allen, Katie Heap, Colt Lukau, and Jalen Paredes on staff. Next, you have Veteran Militia coming at us from Dallas. You have Craig Bennett, Richard Crow, Courtney Idle, Wesley Idle, Michael Payne, Chris Rangel, Hunter Reardon, and Christopher Wells. I see Chris Rangel is listed as D2 on this one, even though it was listed as D3 on another page. And then on staff, you have Chris Beasley and Ryan Sartor. On Veteran Militia Sierra, you've got Radames Bolt, Timon Bolt, Tyler Cunningham, Harry De Jesus, Vincent Lebron, Josue Rios, Jeffrey Rosenberg, and Cody Rosenberg, with, of course, Chris Rangel on staff. And then finally, Veteran Militia Zulu, Joshua Keys, Jacob Miller, Joshua Morissette, Sergio Padilla, Charles Rosa, Dennis Gardino, and Jacob Thomas. That is 2 Jacobs, 2 Joshuas on that team. Very nice. And then, of course, Chris Rangel on staff. So good luck to all of our D3 5-man teams at the NXL World Cup. Next, we're going to get into some of our other divisions, less popular, but still very fun. And we're going to still wish them good luck to our Texas teams. So in Mounds 7v7, we've got Valhalla, FZR. And again, if you're a Texas team and I miss you in any of these other divisions, please let me know. Is this thing on? Yes, Sasha. Yes, Gel is only D3. So, Sasha, if you want to come on here in a little bit, we are going to do some predictions for the pro bracket. So feel free to hop on Discord at any time. In 7-man for Valhalla FZR, you've got Austin Arrington, Chad Barrios, James Cobb, Mark Delgadillo, Cove Headley, Blaine Matthews, John Romero, and Joe Woodward. Good luck to Valhalla competing in Mount 7v7. And all of these divisions are brought to us by Get That Shot, who I believe is going to be doing pro media for HK Army at World Cup. Next, we have Mounds 5v5. We have Outlaw AP Society, I believe is the only Texas team. So on Outlaw AP Society for Mounds 5-man, you've got Cooper Harrison, Trenton Martin, Corey Messimer, Tyler Middleton, Justin Moody, Rylan Robertson, Norris Ross, and Brandon Unger, with Philip Middleton on staff. Good luck, Outlaw AP Society. Next, we're going to go to Mounds 10-man. We have the Secret Society and Valhalla FZR. On Secret Society, coming at us from San Antonio, Texas, you've got Ethan R., Jeffrey R., Bradley R., Michael R., Gregory R., Christian Gonzalez, Zachary Johnson, Zachary Michalik, Kaylin Munoz, Derek Tanberg, and Sasha this is your team. See that you've been busy with your walk-on speedball, getting a squad together. All right, good luck to Secret Society. And then Valhalla FZR. Again, this is for Mounds 10 man. You've got Austin Arrington, Chad Barrios, Mikey Clow, James Cobb, Mark Delgadillo, Rick Hall, Cove Headley, Blaine Matthews, John Miko Lajszak, John Romero, and Joe Woodward. So good luck to all of our... oh boy, Sasha's in here? You are here. Hi, Sasha. Looks like you are muted and deafened, but I see you have your camera on. So Sasha, go ahead and unmute whenever you want to chime in, I guess. Or if you just want to talk about the, your secret society team, I'd love to hear more about it. Here, Hi, Sasha. Unmute.
Yes.
There we go. How's it going, Sasha?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
I was watching the YouTube show, so I was a little bit behind. Yes. Hi, how's it going?
It's going good.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. So Sasha, tell me more about your secret society that you have going to Cup.
Well, for y'all that don't know, Paintball Nights is one of the OG fields in San Antonio. It's out there in St. Hedwig. If you ever want to get some good barbecue, it's right past Legacy Barbecue, I think it's called, or Texas Legacy Barbecue out there in St. Hedwig off 1604. And when I first started playing in San Antonio, Knights was the place. It was the R family ran it. It's all those R's you saw on there, Greg and Mike, Pat, and Jeff. And it's where X Factor started, their team. And it was a scary place where people were just grinding it out. And, that's the place where X Factor was training when they won their first pro event. So having been here, living here for 20 years, I've got a lot of respect for that family and that field. And they've sort of shied away from tournament paintball, but they've always had this thing where they will have secret practices on a Saturday morning, or actually a Sunday morning. They used to do pump. And then recently they started doing mech, because they've been doing for the past couple of years here the 10-man mounds. And they started putting out the call on Facebook or somewhere, I don't remember where, that they were having practice to show up and play. And so I went one time earlier this year, after I'd left Dragoons. Newsflash for people who haven't figured that out yet: I'm no longer involved with Dragoons directly, although I'm their biggest fan. And I just started going there. I had got my EMAC, which is one of my favorite guns ever, and going to their practice on Sunday mornings. And there's one day I went there and I did a move through the middle, shot 3 of them, including Greg. And then afterwards, Mike asked me if I'd play Cup with them. And you could have knocked me over with a feather, because I was just so honored to have these guys who I have incredible respect for. They got 4th place last year. They're all good players. They all know more about paintball than I've forgotten. And so I've just been grinding out with them every other week over in their mountains field at Paintball Nights, getting ready, training hard to play in the Mounds division, which is going to be tough, because we are going to be playing against teams that play events all year round, all year long in the ICPL. If you go look there, you'll see like the Farm. You'll see, I think, Aftershock might have a team. So we're going to be playing some really good teams. I got 4th last year. But I'm really honored to be. I'm really looking forward to playing. It's a 1-day event, which is great. Just show up. I'm flying in Friday. I'm gonna be there, play Saturday, and then on Sunday I'm gonna be watching paintball and selling Pod Runners Union shirts at the X Factor booth.
Sweet.
And doing some Pod Runners Union interviews. So everyone come by and see me at the X Factor booth on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Especially Sunday. That's a big day when you do all your sales. And I will also be doing some Podrunner Union interviews with people with my my phone and my mic, which you got to experience this past weekend. Christian, you were actually featured today on the Instagram.
Yeah, you had to let everybody know that I got cut.
You set a record where you made it pro team and you got
Mm.
cut the same day, which is really, and I think that checks off your one of your list of your goals to get a pro invite. So you're done. You did it.
Yeah, I guess
Congratulations.
I guess we can say I can retire happy now.
You can. You've accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish in the sport now, so you can retire and just do this podcast. Yep.
Well,
So,
we'll talk more after World Cup. We'll see how this one goes for us. I mean, I'd love to add a gold medal from World Cup before I retire, you know.
well, I want to tell you that I watched you guys practice this past weekend, and I'm just convinced that you all are on tight ends, have some of the best communication that I've ever seen at that field in a practice. And I'm including like some pro teams I've seen practice there, frankly. I mean, you guys are just so locked in. Your communication is flawless. You guys make great moves off that communication. Um, I'm just really impressed. And you guys, your results show it this season. So I'm really excited to watch you guys play. I'm going to be there. I'll probably be there to see you play. If you play Friday, because you've got the bye, right?
We play Thursday and Friday, and then we don't have games Saturday, and then quarters start on Sunday.
Okay. And you go straight into the quarters, which I think is a great thing. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing going to World Cup is an incredibly fun experience. You really, I mean, it's really the ultimate sort of event for paintball. If you're a big paintball nerd like us, to just go there, see everybody, see all the vendors, geek out, watch incredible matches. Like just there's constantly these incredible paintball matches going on everywhere you go. It's great.
Oh yeah, and I'll also be there. I'm actually getting to Cup on Tuesday morning to set up the booth for Project, which will again be located in the Hormesis Oasis. So, yeah, come check us out. We've got a lot of cool stuff. Go hang out in the Hormesis Oasis. I How it was set up last year was you've got the big Hormesis tent, but then there's like a secret side exit that leads out into kind of a courtyard area that they have set up. It's fully turfed. They'll have a stage. I believe last year they were, I think Miko was making tacos for whoever, and they've got I think a mini bar there as well. So yeah, go check it out. It's gonna be a good time.
Now I see that I'm on the video because I just switched back over. You might notice that I
Mhm.
am dressed up, not just for Halloween.
Oh yeah, we were talking about your
Uh,
turkey shoot for a little bit. So tell us more. How's the signups for that and the lead ups to that going?
it's going great so far. I've got 25 teams registered and a pretty good. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like single digit in open and novice, which is D5, and then beginner, which is the main event for this series. So there's always going to be a beginner event. And that is got like 12 or 13. There's only one problem, which is that nobody's giving me their money yet. So I need all of you that are listening to this who are signed up to get out your credit card or PayPal or whatever and start giving me your hard-earned cash so I can afford to pay Christian, who is the head referee. And also the money the income that comes or revenue that comes from your registration fees are going to go to funding, getting equipment and whatnot that I need and paying people buying prizes for this season, a premiere season next year, which will be a number of events, maybe three or four. I'm waiting for USXBL's season schedule to come out. And I'll be buying, using that money to buy prizes and also who knows what other things. Taking Christian out to a steak dinner to celebrate his good job. Christian, I hired you as referee. I want to have you as referee because I think that you and I may be the only two people at X Factor that have actually read the NXL rulebook. And I didn't want to be the guy there getting yelled at. So I'm just going to be up in the scoring, up in the tower keeping score and whatnot while people are angry at you for the fact that you threw a major on them or whatever.
All right. Well, I will. I'm looking forward to be getting the opportunity to throw flags and really just help people
Mhm.
have fun. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't expect a lot of cheating because what are the stakes that everyone's playing for? Let's see, medals. We have the medals. There's going to be baked by Celia, bake stuff. Yeah, I already ordered some hats from IHatePaintball.net, which everyone should go check out. Super funny. And if you hey, if paintball is the best worst thing that ever happened to you, you'll understand his humor. And then at Cup, I'm going to be going on a shopping spree, and I'm just going to go around to all the vendors and find cool stuff to buy to bring home for people that couldn't make it to Cup and buy all the cool stuff. Who knows? Maybe some project gear, maybe a custom Project Geo4 with laser engraving. Just kidding. That won't be one of the prizes. It's too expensive.
Well, we do have a couple of those ready, and they do look pretty nice. So
yes, everyone go give Christian your hard-earned money.
Yes, please. Or Sasha, you can go treat yourself as well.
I got my Emex, all I need, baby.
I respect the hell out of that. All right, Sasha, we'll get back to you in just a second. I want to finish covering the teams in the 3-man divisions, and then we'll talk about the pros. So go ahead, and if you want to work on your predictions, looking at the brackets, and now that we know what the layout looks like, go and get those ready, and we'll get back to you in just a second, Sasha. All right, so let's get the teams back up. So we just finished talking about the 10-man, or sorry, the Mounds 10-man. So we talked about the Secret Society. We talked Valhalla FZR. So now we are going to go to intermediate 3-man, which I believe the 3-man divisions, the entry is still open. So not all of these teams have paid. So I'm just covering the teams that have that little payment accepted indicator next to them. So in intermediate 3-man, we only have Outlaw AP Green, which is Stephen A. Jenke, Nick Flores, Philip Middleton, Tyler Middleton, and Miles Mascariello from Wasteland Paintball Park in Houston. Good luck to Outlaw AP Green. Next, we have in Novice 3-man. Let me find Novice. There we go. In Novice 3-man, we have Destiny Space City out of Houston. And on Destiny Space City, we have Leonardo Alvarez, Marcus Cardenas, Eric Cochran, Kevin Miller, and Robert Odom, with Lupe Leyva on staff for Destiny Space City. Good luck to Destiny Space City. And then finally, in Masters X-Ball, we've got the old greedy bastards from Paintball Fit. You've got Jason Bonner, Mikey Clough, Charles Dean, Justin Doman, Robert Fredericks, Logan Heath, Keith Roll, Wesley Smith, and Jacob Topping. With on staff, you've got Paula Allen, Brock Bohannon, Brandy Bonner, Cliff Dyer, and Chris Odom, and then this gentleman from Sweden, Joachim, who I'm not even going to pretend to know how to say that last name, but good luck to the old greedy bastards in the Masters X-Ball division. And finally, getting to the pro division, we've of course have 5 Texas teams in the pro division this year. We've got AC Diesel, Austin Notorious, make sure I'm not forgetting anybody, Paintball Fit, Houston Heat, and San Antonio X Factor. With of course, let's see, championship, they're listed on the bottom. There we go. So, and of course, 2 of those teams, Houston Heat and San Antonio X Factor, have the Champions Cup bye because Texas is just better. So, on AC Diesel, we've got Mark Baginski, Silos Cortez, Mouse, Alex Goldman, BJ Henningberg, Clint Johnson, Mark Johnson, Renee Rodriguez, Kyle Spiga, and Jesse Stevens, with Josh Bucci, Greg Pauly, and Jel Stewart on staff. For Austin Notorious, bringing several new pickups over from Europe, we have Bogdan Andre Siuk, who I believe is from... Actually, no, he's not. He's not a foreign pickup, but I think he's a newer player this year. Archie Barnes Jr., Ty Bateman. You've got Thomas Carroll coming over from the Lucky 15s. Zach Carter, Logan Dyer, Marky Franz, Mason Hines, also from the Lucky 15s, Michael Johnson, and Jared Sherman. And then on staff, you've got Mark Dale, Clifford Dyer, Colin Eaton, Mark Franz, Chuck Latham, the recently appointed head coach, Travis Patton. And then, of course, the memorial for Diego Soto on the staff. And then up next, we have Paintball Fit. You have Caleb Baisley, Jonathan Chavez, Cyrus Geringer, Jacob Johnson, Colt Lukow, Johnny Lukow, Brody Lukow, Trenton Mason, and Scott Stewart. And then on staff, you've got Rich Addix, Alonzo Braley, Casey Harris, JD Lukau, Sarah Lukau, Rob Skidza Pankowski, Jay Urban, Lacey Urban, and Verbal Brian Wolf. And then in the Champions Cup bracket, you have Houston Heat. You've got Chad Yaya Boucher, Ronnie Dizon, Konstantin Fedorov, Chad George, Tyler Harmon, Connor Kelly, Mishka Knyazyev, Sam Monville, Ryan Moorhead, and Ryan Smith, with Pat McKenna and John Monville on staff. And then finally, San Antonio X Factor. You've got Cody Bayless, TJ Danner, Matt Jackson, Alex Martinez, Meter Ninos, Cole Roberts, Tim Stetzel, and then I see they haven't added Billy back to the roster yet, but Billy will be there. And then on staff, of course, you've got Ryan Brand, Oliver Godin, Jeff Wechter, and Dixon Yang. Notable that Axel Godin will be playing with the Tauntauns at World Cup, not for X Factor. He had to make that choice back in like April. But yeah, no Axel, but I know you don't see Billy on here, but Billy will be at the event. So yeah, there's our pro teams. And then, so now we're going to get into our bracket predictions. So we're going to bring Sasha back here. So Sasha, let's talk about this layout. What do you think of the layout now that it's out?
Well, what do you think? That's always a question. So what do you think about the layout? You know what I'm going to say, right?
Oh, I know what you're going to say. I think, it looks like all of the brackets are up, by the way.
Does it look fun or does it not look fun? That's the question. What are the brackets are up?
Yeah, it looks like all of the other divisions have their brackets up now.
Okay.
So anyways, getting back to the pro division, I think it looks pretty fun. I know on paper it looks like it has a similar theme from the Chicago event as far as like the snake beams on both sides and the way the Doritos are lined up with the mini wing at the 50 on both sides. However, I think the middle is very different and it's going to cause the layout to play a lot differently.
Yeah. I mean, the first question you want to know is, does it look fun or not? And the answer is always yes. Of course it looks fun.
Of course it does.
So we got to get that. We got to look at that out of the way. I've never seen a layout where someone says it doesn't look fun, at least one person. Joey Blute, coach of Damage, I saw on Facebook, he immediately said it looks like the Chicago layout. And sort of the Halloween theme, I'd say it's the son of the Windy City layout. I was disappointed because I wanted to see some crazy snake beam stuff like the layout I put up on Field 1 at X Factor. This, something more creative. But I think that probably the thinking is that the Windy City layout was a big hit, provided lots of action, and they just want, Trojan, I think, just wants to make the people happy. He might have even made both layouts for this layout for the Windy City, and just put it in his back pocket in case, depending on that one went. Mm-hmm. But I think based on this layout, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see similar results to what we saw at the Windy City, because the teams that are going in are gonna, you've just, like you said, you've just got to serve similar dynamic. The difference you see just from looking at it is that, my comment on the coaches show was, I'm 47 years old. I'm probably one of the slowest people on the field, and I'm confident I could make the break to the snake every point off the break. Right. It just looks easy. Ryan Gray would say on the coaches show, well, you have to test that out. Maybe it won't be so easy, and you can definitely see some shots there, but I'm pretty sure I could make it most of the time. And if I'm making it, like everybody's making it, it's just going to be a battle down that side of the snake. The Dorito side is not as strong because it doesn't have that huge wing bunker. You have to play a little bit more like a Dorito, like a traditional Dorito, and the snake there on the Dorito side just gives you a different option to try to make a move without being seen up the field. But it's more risky because there's fewer places you can hide. The center looks pretty. The center to me looks pretty predictable almost. I don't know really how to explain it, but I just you can sort of see what the moves are going to be, and because it's sort of angled. If I remember just from the layout, it's angled towards is it angled towards the Dorito side? Because you've got those two tall towers on the snake side. right?
So I've got it up on the screen here, at least the paper layout. So what was your question again, as far as which way the wings were angled towards?
I don't have the layout up in front of me. I'm just going off memory, but
so of the center bunkers kind of make a V that points toward the snake.
Yeah.
But then you've also got a brick on the Dorito 50.
Yeah, I mean, what I mean by it's being predictable, and I'm actually bringing up on Guns Up, is that because they're sort of angled in that way, like the Windy City Major, they're sort of parallel to each other, and so you could move around a lot more. But when they're angled like that, I think that I would expect that kind of draws you in the direction that they're angled. So you're going to find more people meeting on that snake side brick. Rather than having, Colt doing those crazy moves where he would go to one of those Hertz towers on Windy City. So, to my, eye, it looks kind of predictable as far as what's going to happen in the center. And that, I guess, makes the center maybe weaker because it's a little bit less dynamic. It'll be easier to find people, maybe. I don't know. You're a big shot D2 player. You tell us what you think. I'm just
not
a
D2 yet,
guy.
my friend.
You're gonna be. Come on.
I'm about to be, but I'm not there yet.
Right,
I think.
Tell us what you think.
So first, I don't know. I look at where can you shoot people off break, because I like shooting people off break. You can do it from the back center. It's just blind.
You got to remind people that you like to shoot people off the break, because then they don't get to play paintball that round.
100%.
That's yeah. All right. We just got to make sure we get that out there. All right, go on.
So you can shoot people from the back center, but it's blind. The important thing to establish is like during the breakout, who has the information, who can get the information. So teams will need to figure that out. As far as like, I'm not just going to break out to my spot and then not know what's going on. Like, who's going to have the eyes downfield? Other than that, I mean, the snake corner does not have the tape, and that's the snake 50 wing blocks everything out. So if you're in the snake, granted, we'll have to see exactly what center bunkers can see which bumps. But if you're in the snake, there's no reason for you not to be able to crawl all the way to the other side of the field. So,
what's interesting is that if you look at the snake for this event, I mean, the 50 looks very similar to the Windy City snake, where you have these three bunkers in the center really close to each other. So expect to see. I've been rewatching the Windy City every pro match, and I'm about halfway through Sunday at this point, and you just see lots of bloody play right there at the 50, right? You see people jumping over the bunker, people going on the inside and like one-handing someone, doing that shot where you just reach around and stick them. And so you just, this looks like this is why it looks like the Windy City layout, where you're just going to have bloody meetups at the 50. They're going to get to that brick right before or they're going to get to those mini wings, because like you said, you can't stop someone really from going that way too easily. Maybe if you're at that big giant brick at the 50 and you're shooting down into the bunker. But yeah, we're going to see a lot of snake action. I think that really puts it, X factor and damage in a good position again.
Well, we shall see on that.
We shall.
So looking at the brackets, obviously we know that. So I did the numbers as far as the Pro Series is concerned. It is impossible for X Factor to be able to catch Red Legion, because technically they could do it if like X Factor gets first and Legion gets 7th, then X Factor would overtake. However, Scalp gets pulled out of those rankings. Scalp is not counted. So the lowest that Red Legion could get is 7th if they lose every game. But whoever X Factor beats in the quarterfinal round, Legion is going to be seated ahead of them in the final placement. So for X Factor to win the event, Red Legion would be getting at lowest 6th place, which is not enough to close the gap. So Legion already has the series secured. So now all eyes are on the relegation picture. So let's talk about the bracket A, where we've got Aftershock, Hurricanes, Bears, Diesel, and Ron Holt Dynamite. Diesel's sitting in 18th place right now. And coming off, I think they got 19th, I want to say, in Chicago. So tell me, what are your thoughts on bracket A, Sasha?
Well, first I want to say I've been a big fan of Diesel. I know there's a lot of Diesel haters out there, but we know all those guys from the local tournament series, USXBL here. They've been working that, and we get to know them through that. So it's disappointing to see how things have gone the past 2 years. I haven't really seen anything to show that they're going to do any better. So just to make it quick here, I'm going to say Aftershock, and the Hurricanes seem like obvious picks to me out of bracket A. I don't know much about Ron Holt Dynamite except they're young, and the Brooklyn Bears just, they're sort of middle of the pack, but they came off a last place finish the last event, and
right,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for my mind, so Diesel after Chicago, they let go of Cody Mikowski and they let go of Ryan Gray. And then, to my knowledge, the coaching duties are going to be Mark Johnson player coaching as well as Kyle Spica. Which, if I remember correctly, they did it at last year's World Cup and also didn't have great success with it. So
they did knock out X Factor out of the event, though. They beat X Factor.
That is correct. Yeah,
match.
They did.
That was very sad for us X Factor fans.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens there. I think that the Bears, they got the last place. It was their first event with him in, and they immediately let him go. So if things go back to the status quo, then, the Bears could be a contender for Sunday. Also keep in mind, there are no wild cards. It's just straight up top 2 advance per bracket. I know it says +2 wild cards, but that's not the case.
Oh, wow. That makes things even more cutthroat, right?
Yeah. So it's just straight up top 2, move on.
We've gotten to know Hinman a little bit because he runs USXBL, and it's just so what are you doing if you're running the Brooklyn Bears? You bring on Hinman and you let him go after one event. One event doesn't tell you anything, it just. And then Diesel, the interesting thing about Diesel is that Kyle Spica is on record, I think, I don't know which podcast it was, but he said that he thinks he's one of the best coaches in the world. So, which I gave him a little hard time about at the USA tryouts they had at X Factor because his team didn't make it into the finals. We had a good laugh about that, but maybe that's the right move for them, for Spica to start coaching. Maybe that's the missing piece they need.
Possibly we'll see. All right. So your predictions are Aftershock Hurricanes. Hurricanes.
Safe.
That is pretty safe, and I think that this bracket's probably the easiest one, given that Aftershock's the only team that made Sunday in Chicago in this bracket. And the Bears and Diesel took 20th and 19th. So
right.
Hurricanes are a tough one. They made finals in Vegas, sure, but then they've gone 2-2 at every event since then and missed every Sunday since.
But on the coach's show, Mike Bianca said that he got everyone's back and healthy now. They've had injury problems all year.
Okay, that's good to hear. And
yeah,
for me, it's between the Bears and the Hurricanes. I know Diesel, obviously, they've got a star-studded roster, but at this point, I don't know. I'm not ready to be hurt again, I guess, if that makes sense. So, they're gonna have to prove me the other way. So I'm gonna say Aftershock definitely is a distant first, and then getting the second slot. You know what? We'll go Hurricanes. If they've got everybody healthy again, I think the Hurricanes can produce more consistently. Yep. So up next, you got bracket B. You've got Tampa Bay Damage, Paintball Fit, ASG Aftermath, Austin Notorious, and Spider Fusion. Spider Fusion is the team that came in from Brazil. And I think that for them, not knowing anything about them, I would I would be surprised if they win more than 3 points the entire weekend.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
So,
I mean, they've got Division 4 players and Division 3 players. I have no idea what the scene is like in South America. I know they've got lots of competitions down there, and people like Harrison Fry fly down there and guest and do clinics and whatnot. But fun for them. They get to play in the pro field. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, get hurt. At the same time, they're a team with absolutely nothing to lose, right? So they could be an upset alert for another team. That being said, though, I think Austin Notorious is very thankful that they drew Spider Fusion. As far as the relegation standings go, New York Extreme needs to beat Notorious by 4 spots, and Notorious is essentially getting a free win. So,
well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like you said.
On this field, as far as getting into the predictions, I want to say it's going to be Damage, and the second one's a little bit weird. I feel like Paintball Fit is actually going to play really well on this field. From what I've seen, there's going to be some, the traditional AC Dallas, cross it up, shoot the gigantic gaps, and have really solid communication. And I think Paintball Fit's going to be the best team out of the remaining 4 that have that team-wide communication and make sure jobs get passed off and things like that. So I'm going to pick Damage and Fit advancing out of this.
Yeah, with Paintball Fit, you watch them play and they're, you just hear it over and over again. You see it. Their strategy is all revolves around shots off the break, right? Like as it should. That's a winning thing. But really, when they don't get that 54 count, it seems like they struggle a bit more, especially because Colt gets trapped in the back. And look at the back center; it's a tall can. Like that's the hardest bunker to be in, other than the small cake they had in Atlantic City, right? It's one of the harder bunkers to have as a back center because you just get pinched out. And looking at this layout, there's a lot of places to get pinched out from. Just even if someone's in the snake 1, they can start shooting at you. And that first Dorito or that first tower, they could do a hard wrap and shoot you. So that I don't know that this plays really well for them.
I'm going to disagree with you on that because I think the center is going to be very strong, and I think it's easy to get to.
Yeah, easier than the Windy City, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm just going to go. I'm going to go Damage because this field. I mean, it's crazy that they're not in the top 4, but Damage and Aftermath, just to make it different. Because Aftermath is also a very disciplined team, but I think that they've got something on Fit, which is that looking at them, they seem to have sort of smaller, other than Chavi, obviously, like smaller, more athletic players. So I'm just going to make it a little bit controversial here. So we're not just picking the top 2 every time.
That's fair. And I do think Aftermath could do it. I mean, it's going to depend on, how do the teams adjust from not having super obvious lanes from the back center off the break? How are teams going to communicate? How are they going to use the center? Can they crawl down the snake fast? Can they break through?
Mm-hmm.
Can they break contains? Do they have all that figured out? I think on this field though, I am going to go Paintball Fit. So bracket C is going to be the toughest one. I think you've got 3 teams that made Sunday in Chicago out of this bracket, or actually it might be 4 teams. Let me check. I don't remember if. Okay, no, it was 3 teams. ML Kings did not make it. So 3 out of the 5 teams made Sunday in Chicago. You've got Edmonton Impact, LA Ironmen, Infamous, ML Kings, and New York Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say that NYX probably drew the toughest draw that they could have because they drew the one team in that kind of C tier or that 3rd tier that made Sunday in Chicago. So yeah, it's gonna be very, very difficult for NYX. They're gonna have to they're gonna have to play to the level that they played last year to have a chance because they not only need to likely make it out of their bracket and into the Sunday round. But depending on Diesel, but depending on Notorious, if those 2 teams make get a win, go 1-3, then that just means, hey, NYX needs to advance another round into Sunday, likely winning the wild card round. So NYX has a really difficult road here to avoid relegation.
And even if they get like 2-2 but don't make it to Sunday, I don't think that's going to be enough to overtake Notorious by whatever you said, like the 4 spots.
It's got to be 4 spots. So essentially, like if NYX finishes like 3rd in their bracket, they need Notorious to finish 5th to get to like be safe. Which again, Notorious has Spider Fusion, so that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I wish they'd spelled Spider Fusion like the old school Spider gun, and they all shot spiders. That would be amazing. All right, but this for bracket C. You look at Edmonton Impact, and I watch them play as a fan and as someone who's done this for a while, and they are just so disciplined and just play correctly. Like they don't they don't really make a lot of mistakes, and they just have solid players who are playing in their position, not out of position, and their coach is great, and it's just hard to see them not advancing. Everyone else in this bracket is, like you said, it's just like, it's a head scratcher. Ironman gets 4th, then comes in 20th at the very next event the same weekend, right? Atlantic City. Infamous has been inconsistent. ML Kings doesn't really, they're small athletic, and that guy, Kyle Berry, my God, that guy can talk. Like, he just has so much knowledge. It's incredible. And then it's Extreme. The thing with Extreme as a fan, like I was watching some Instagram reel, and it was Rich Telford, like they were having a meeting, and he was explaining to them how to close out like a 3-on-1. And I'm thinking, these guys in the professional division, they're getting a lecture about the proper way to close out 3-on-1. Spread the field, have the center. It was something like that. I'm just like, what? It sort of made sense as to why they're at risk of relegation if they're. But then you watch them play. And there's just incredible players on that team across the board. They've got like 5 good players. So it's really weird that they're about to get relegated. I'm sure that if they do get relegated, like Jerry Caro, these guys will get picked up. So, I mean, my thinking for this is Edmonton Impact and ML Kings. I'm just picking the ML Kings because of the home field advantage. I think being able to play in your backyard is a major advantage in this sport without having to travel, given everything else equal. That's my call.
Okay, wow. Big upset predicted here. I'm going to disagree with you on the ML Kings. I think ML Kings is a massive upset.
Yeah, I mean, they've got good players, Ironmen have been inconsistent, and Infamous Ironmen have been consistent, and Extreme is risk relegation.
I mean, ML Kings are 17th in the season. They got a 19th, a 10th, a 15th, and a 16th. So I think that
they made Sunday.
I mean, they made one Sunday in the Lone Star event where the weather conditions are abhorrent. So
were they bad on Saturday?
They were bad on Friday, and then when the rain really came down, they won both their games on Saturday to sneak in.
It's Florida, dude. It definitely rains in Florida. I mean, home field advantage, and that grass down there where they pick up.
That is fair.
Anyway, I'm just trying to make it fun for us here.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I'm gonna go Impact and Infamous on this one. I think Infamous has the better center players. Although I think Tom Guest is really good. I think Tom Guest is going to play really well on this layout. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know enough about, like, I don't think that the Ironmen are fully like gelled together with the pickup of Omar and Henry Sense. I don't think they've hit their peak yet. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm not expecting them to be firing on all cylinders at this event more than Infamous. So I'm going to go Impact Infamous.
It's tough because there's so much parity in the league. There's so many good players everywhere now, and across all the divisions, frankly.
For sure. Okay, bracket D, we've got Dynasty, Revo, Blast Camp, Uprising. Only one of these teams made Sunday in Chicago, and it's the one at the bottom. It's Seattle Uprising. So this team, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, I think that Dynasty has a Dynasty magic and loves World Cup, and we're going to see how they do in the layout this weekend at X Factor where they're practicing. That'll be exciting. I'm going to try to get some Podrunners Union interviews with them. And then, Revo is interesting because at the beginning of the year, I was sort of scratching my head as to like who that team is and what they're going to do. But I think they're a lot like Impact. They're a bunch of really true professional players who are very intelligent and know how to play the game correctly. Blast Camp are a bunch of kids, but have shown that they can handle. I don't know if they're kids, but they're the young team that show they can hang. And Uprising is again inconsistent, but they've got momentum swing. Like things are coming together for them. And then there's the Tauntauns who are just a powerhouse and have got Axel back. I mean, I think I'm gonna go Dynasty Tauntauns on this one. I don't know why Tauntauns is 20th either. They're higher than Ronald Dynamite, which makes sense.
Yeah, they just because they're in bracket D. It's so I'm gonna say Tauntauns for sure. I'm gonna say Tauntauns win the bracket. I think Axel Godin is just a monster.
And the Snake.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of these teams are gonna have an answer for them. At least not with how Dynasty played at the last event. We're gonna need to see definitely the Vegas Dynasty come out for this. But I'm gonna go Tauntauns. And as far as who I think will beat Dynasty, I don't think any of these teams are going to beat Dynasty. So yeah, I'm going to go Dynasty as the second one in this bracket.
Yeah, Dynasty is really, I mean, I think just having kids and getting old, I know about that. I mean, they've had an incredible run. It's sort of strange to see them not make Sunday twice in 1 year after winning World Cup. Have they won 4 times in a row or 3?
4. Yeah, they won in 2020 as well.
Incredible.
All right. So now let's talk about the championship, the buys bracket. So you've got Red Legion, X Factor, Houston Heat, and Scalp. Scalp didn't drop a single match the entire season in the NXL Europe. Houston Heat has not won a single match on Sunday all year.
Yep.
They've done well in prelims, but then first round on Sunday always exit. X Factor's made the finals twice this year. And then you've got Red Legion, who has podiumed all 4 events and has already taken the series. But
so an interesting thing about Scalp is that they were winning events with Malloy and at a couple events in Arturo Andrade at another one. And the question is, who do they have that's I can just get
twice this year.
Oops.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who's it talking? Diaz?
Diaz? What's up, Diaz?
That is me. That is I. It's the man, the myth, the legend. You know what I mean? Over here representing Helotus Fusion. Thought I'd just, shout us out real fast.
Oh, what up?
World Cup.
Hell yeah.
Are you guys playing Cup?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. They're playing in D4X, yeah?
I missed that one.
D5X. Ooh, even better.
Yeah. Christian over here said if you're on a Texas team, if you're on a Texas team, hop in.
Hop on in. Let's talk about Fusion.
Man, I'm here, bro. Let's talk about Fusion, bro. Let's talk about Fusion.
Yeah, forget the pro brackets. Let's hear about Fusion.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
forget the pro brackets.
Let me just make a quick call. I'm gonna say I'm gonna call X Factor wins the pro champion bracket. That's it. All right, I'm gonna go hand out Halloween candy. Good talking with you.
All right, have fun, Sasha.
Yeah,
we'll
good
see
talking to you, man. You go have fun. All right, take it easy. Drink some water. Stay healthy.
All right, Diaz. So, Helotus Fusion. This your first full year as a team, I believe, and you've done pretty well. I think you in the USXBL, did you win the third one? Is that correct?
We won the third one, yeah.
Okay. So first full year as a team, and you guys have been practicing really hard, playing really well. Looks like you picked up Mikey to be on your playing roster for this one. And then Jacob Johnson came over from the Dragoons, right?
Yes.
All right. So how has that been going as far as like adding the new bodies in your practices?
So, I mean, it's not really anything unfamiliar. If anything, it just feels like, good friends of ours just playing for us. Because Jake had ended up playing the second event in US High with us, so nothing really changed there. We know how to play with him. He's good friends with us, so good vibes all around. And then Mikey, we've been friends with him for a long time. Playing against him, playing with him on Sunday points just before we even started playing seriously again. But I mean, during the practices, man, like it just feels like we're all playing together, we're all understanding each other, so it's always a plus, always a positive.
All right, yeah, good to hear. So you guys have 11 bodies on your roster for World Cup, which is a lot of people to manage. Do you guys have a strategy for that, or do you know your depth chart? You still trying to figure that out? What's the plan there?
Everyone is pretty much equally playing good, and we do not have because coming this weekend we'll kind of solidify what's going down, who's playing what, the roles or whatever. So in terms of like lines and whatnot, we don't have that established, but I'm pretty sure we'll kind of hash that out this weekend. So as of right now, we're just going 2 cup with 11 people. Well, realistically 14. But yeah, we're going 2 cup with 11 people, playing, having fun, but competing. Because I mean, yes, we're going there for the experience and to have fun with each other, have fun playing the cup, and experience it all in one. But definitely taking it serious, taking the prep serious, and just playing good paintball.
All right. Is this going to be everybody's first World Cup experience?
Aside from maybe Jacob, I'm not sure, but definitely Mikey's second, I think. Okay. But for everybody else, to include myself, yes.
All right. Well, yeah, it's gonna be a big event. There's a lot more as far as like the logistics side that become an extra challenge because of the size of World Cup. So definitely lean on the experience of the guys that have been there before. Leave plenty of time getting to and from places. And if you have a gear bag, try to consolidate it to a backpack, because wheeling that thing, it's like over a mile walk from the parking lot to the divisional fields.
Yeah. I think what the fuck? My bad. But yo,
Colt Roberts is
hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Colt? We're getting to the end of our podcast episode here, and we're just talking about Helotus Fusion going to World Cup.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, sir, it is. Hey, just so everyone knows, so it's on record, Colt Roberts, I used to be coached by him, good guy all around. He's still an X Factor doing his thing. Age is not a fucking number to him. He's over there showing out. You're welcome, Colt.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
So what division we playing?
So
D5X.
Yeah, Daniel's playing D5X. Helotus Fusion, they won one of the USXBLs this year, and for most of these guys, it's gonna be their first World Cup, and I think first NXL event as well for most of them.
Yeah, it's it'll be my third, because I played in 2014 and 2015 PSP Dallas. So third national event, but first World Cup.
All right.
That's awesome, dude. It's gonna be quite the experience.
Yeah, this one's already bigger. I think they got like 10 more X-Ball teams this year than last year, so I think it's once again the biggest World Cup.
So how many are in D5X?
39? I want to say.
I'm going to say that there's a 98% chance you play a team from Texas. Always happens.
It looks like so. The brackets just came out a few hours ago. They do not have a Texas team in prelims.
Man, that's awesome.
Well, good. I will say that's because 2 Texas teams made the Champions Cup bye. So
that's also awesome.
Yeah.
So how many total Texas teams do we have that actually have a bye going into World Cup?
That actually have a bye? I think it's 5. Yeah, it's awesome. 5. So you've got the Gunners in D5, Shut Up We're Trying in D5, both Texas Titans lines, and then you guys.
Hell yeah.
So 5 Texas teams, 4 of them from X Factor.
Dang.
Coincidence?
Mm-hmm.
I think not.
Yeah, I think there might be something else going on there. All right. Alrighty, so
All right.
Daniel, thanks for stopping by. We're gonna be rooting for you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so Colt, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna play some League of Legends, really.
I'll
How you
hop on
doing?
with you in just a second, but yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, we're just getting to the end. Sasha hopped in here earlier. We did like our pro predictions for all of the
I'm peacing
brackets.
out. Y'all take it easy.
All right, thanks, Daniel.
Let it, Daniel. So you put us top 8, right?
Of course.
And the Russians too, I hope.
Well, I would hope so, given that y'all are guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Hell yeah. So I know Daniel. He's a good kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not
good
really a
paintball
kid.
player.
He is actually a pretty good player. Yeah. I mean, I felt like I saw him a lot, and then he kind of dropped off. Like, I don't know where he went. Is that the case? And then he came back in, or
Yeah, Fusion really hit it hard. This year was like kind of their first full year. They played a little bit towards the end of like 2023. But this year they kind of hit Division 5 swinging. They at practice they're not afraid to line up on the box against like any team, whether it's us, Jackpot, Grit, it doesn't matter. They'll play anybody. And I think that approach at practice has really helped them out this year.
now did you go over the jackpot thing? Did you talk about this on your podcast?
Well, we're still live, just so you know. But yes, we did talk about how Jackpot made the bump up from Division 3 to semi-pro.
Okay, and what was the consensus?
Just so I know that I don't know if there was a consensus. We just kind of went over the roster and like listed all of the teams in every division from Texas. But I think that it's going to be a big challenge for sure. I mean, they're jumping up 2 divisions and they're playing at the hardest event of the year. But I think that they're doing it not to like, they're definitely not in like, it's not a win now move, right? They're trying to set themselves up from success going into next year doing the, I'm assuming they're going to stay in semi-pro for next year. So, from that,
So you think that this is a permanent move?
I think so. I mean, they're all going to be D2 next year anyway, and
Okay.
I think they're going to skip D2 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm definitely not completely against it because obviously, if you know the history of X Factor, that's exactly in a nutshell what we did. Now there was another division called D1 at the time, which was essentially semi-pro, what it is now, right? So
Right.
same, and the same thing happened with X Factor. So I'm not going to say it's not doable, but what I will say is that when we did it, number one, I came and played on the team with them, so they had somebody that had experience at a higher level, and number two, they were winning everything in Division 3.
Right.
So, man, I just don't know. I'm interested. To see how this is going to play out. Like, it's tough if you're not winning everything to jump an entire division. I mean, it's tough to go up a division if you are winning everything. It's a different world. But then going 2, that's interesting.
For sure. Let me see who they have in their brackets here now that they're out. Jackpot has. They have a Texas team. Look at that.
Hey, what a surprise.
So they've got Distortion, Denver Altitude, Outlaw, AP Factory, and the NorCal Kings.
Okay, so I'm sure that Distortion's going to be pretty good.
Yes.
And then Altitude is also top 4, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They're not top 4, but they're top 10, I believe, for the season.
Okay. Man, for some reason I thought they were doing better.
No, Denver Altitude, they're actually 14th on the season, but they've gotten better.
they're not doing good.
They've gotten better throughout the year. They started with a 25th in Vegas, and then a 19th, and then an 11th, and then they finished 5th in Chicago. So
I guess I didn't
consistent
realize
climb.
there's that many teams in semi-pro.
Yeah, there's 30 teams in semi-pro at World Cup.
That's unreal. How many teams are in D2?
Less.
Yeah.
In D2, there are 27.
That's crazy. It used to always be such a traditional, food pyramid from bottom to top, like
Right.
D5 or whatever it was at the time, being the largest division by far, and then scaling up. It's crazy that there's more semi-pro teams.
Now it's a kind of a curve. I think the biggest division is D3.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
then D4 and then semi-pro Or sorry, it goes D3, then D4, then D5, and then semi-pro.
Well, I guess looking at that draw, since I've thought that the Denver team was better, so I mean, I guess they didn't get too bad of a draw, really. It's Distortion's going to be the best team.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, Denver, they have been consistently getting better throughout the year. They finished in 5th in Chicago, but it's not solid, bad. Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, Distortion is going to be a game that you're hoping to maybe get a point or two or like get the experience, you know. But I think that they can. I mean, obviously, NorCal Kings is another team that is, as far as I know, a throw together from California.
Okay.
Or they might be like a Premier Division team from WC that's playing Cup. And then Outlaw Anodizing Factory. I don't think they've made a Sunday this year, but I do know that they've had at least one event where they went 3-1 and got knocked out in prelims. So they're, I think that's going to be a good game for sure.
Now, here's my question too. Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was there some sort of turmoil going on in the jackpot camp? Like people were like not wanting to play, and like things almost happened to where they weren't even going to have a team. Is that true?
I don't think so. I think that when they got last place in the 3rd USXBL, there were, obviously very disappointed, and they had a talk and figured out things needed to change. I know that they had one player depart from that event and then go to Grit, but everyone else has stayed together. So it seems like they've come back stronger since then.
Okay. So I guess that would be my question is like, you're at a local event, you have a poor showing, and then kind of shit hits the fan, so to speak. What happens to the psyche when you jump up 2 divisions, go to semi-pro? What if it just goes absolutely terrible?
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, the good thing is for them that this event, like with the way PB Leagues works, this will be their blackout event. They're all going to be D2 anyway next year.
Okay,
but they don't have to.
Does not affect.
Yeah, they don't have to commit to semi-pro. They can, if they decide that, hey, this was terrible, we need to go back to D2, they have that option.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess that makes it a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I understand the move for sure. I think they will, if they were in like a win now, try to get the best result possible, then I would say absolutely stay D3 for this event. But since seeing it as a move for the future, I'm understand it at the very least. I don't disagree with it entirely.
So, but I mean, you have carnal knowledge of this, right? I mean, you guys have won events.
Right.
You're currently ranked 1st in D3 or 2nd?
First.
So you know what it takes to win in D3.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel if your team was just to immediately bump to semi-pro? I mean, you guys are the winning team right now, so you theoretically should be the team to do this. Why are you not doing this?
At this event, because we're going for the series.
Well, obviously, but next year.
As far as next year, I mean, I think that for us, we haven't necessarily made that decision yet, but I also feel like, for my personal opinion, that if we were to go D2 next year, we have a real shot at winning the series in D2.
Agreed. That's my point. Right. That's my point. It's like, you're winning right now, so you would essentially have the most chance to do the best out of any team theoretically in semi-pro as the best D3 team. And yet you have another team that's not even in the top 10. I don't know where Jackpot's ranked. But they have not won an event, and then they're jumping to semi-pro. I just find it interesting. How do you think they'll match up? You've practiced them. You've practiced Demolition. You've practiced X Factor. I mean, how different is it? How does it feel when you jump out on the field against us? How does it feel when you jump out on the field against Demolition? I mean, is it like, holy shit, this is a different world? Or is it like, man, that's 5 idiots with guns, we could win this? Like, what is it?
I think for me personally, like when we play against you guys, there's
let's talk about that last point actually that we did. How was that?
Yeah, so obviously when we play against you guys, there's just significantly more pressure. The shots are just like, you guys don't miss. And
margin of error is much smaller for sure.
And the pace is a lot faster.
Right.
So for me personally, I feel like I can, if I need to go and get like 1 kill, then that's more like achievable than like, hey, your 5 need to go win a point against X Factor's 5. So as a team, I think we're definitely not used to the pace of play that you guys are at.
Okay.
And we're not,
For sure.
I would say we're not that close either.
Okay, now let's move down to semi-pro because you've played Demolition. They've been practicing us a lot. They've been getting a lot better. But I mean, they're not a top 10 team, if I'm not mistaken, in semi-pro right now. They haven't made a Sunday
Correct.
yet. They're a 2-2 kind of team, so they do beat people, but they don't quite have it consistently together. So what's it like jumping up to that level? Is it still pace of play is really fast, shots are better, or does it feel like just slightly better than what you're playing now, or how do you feel about that?
I think for demo, their shots are definitely on. Their style is not as fast. I would say they're a team that tries to slow it down and really control the field. But their shots are on, but I also feel like with their pace, like we have more time to process and then come up with a plan midpoint. Whereas with you guys, it's like, oh, we lost a guy. Oh, you're already on our side of the field type deal.
So it's not so much that you come out, you snap shoot against one of us, and you're like, oh my God, this guy's just so much better than me. It's more the fact that the read and recognition and the margin for error is a lot faster and less margin of error. We don't miss as many shots. We don't leave as many windows open. So you think that's the harder part of moving up in the divisions?
That and the, like, for you guys already knowing, like, hey, this is step 1, I'm going to get to this spot. Step 2, I'm going to, establish on the wire, kill the widest guy. Step 3, then you're wrapping on the next guy. And then, the whoever behind you or in front of you is going to move up the field. Like, you guys are, that's all basically second nature for you guys. You're not having to think about, oh, what should my next move be? You already are at the point where it's just automatic. Whereas sometimes for us, like we have to sit and think like, oh, what should my next move be versus just knowing already what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable, but I mean, looking at the fields as they've been this year for most of the year, I mean, I feel like they've been back to a lot more kind of traditional style paintball. So, in theory, even though maybe your shot's not as good and timing's not as good, you should be able to still read and react because, ladder snake, you shoot the wide guy, you crawl down, shoot guys on the side, right? Dorito side, you got one dude traditionally is holding you in a slot position, you put him in, go. Like, so I'm just curious to why do you think that, because I've coached you guys many times and we've talked about these exact things many times.
Right.
What do you think that is it the pressure of like the paintball's flying at you and like you get, your head gets rattled type deal? Or why do you think that it's not so easy to put into practice what's talked about and what you should do?
I think part of it is just the confidence on the ability to execute on it. Just part of it is like, oh, I don't know if I can execute it against an X Factor team or against a semi-pro team. Even though I might know, hey, this move is the correct move at this time, is the confidence there? And I know that for us, like we have to believe in ourselves and know like, hey, we're at the level that we are. We're the first place team in Division 3 for a reason. So
does the lack of confidence come from the fact that you personally think that I can't do this? Or is it more the fact that, well, I don't want to do this because I may not be successful and I may let my team down and therefore we may lose because of it? Like, what do you think more is the driving factor as to?
Part of it's the second thing. I mean, like the points that whenever we get to play against you guys, I know part of it for sure is like the stage fright of like, oh, that's Colt Roberts. Oh, that's TJ Danner shooting at me. He's going to fuck me up, So just getting with, especially, or I guess more specifically when we play against like the guys that are 1 or 2 or 3 levels higher than us, like just still going at it with the same approach of, hey, they're just idiots with guns over there.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think the pressure, everything you said is exactly what I would say if I were to say, like, why is a pro team better than a semi-pro team, but better than a D2 team, whatever. It's exactly what you said. Number 1, it's the pressure. Number 2, it's the reaction timing. and the knowledge of what I should do, when I should do it, and making that decision super quickly. And then just the margin of error is much, much smaller. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, sorry to get off on a tangent. I was
No,
just
you're
curious
good.
what
You're
your
good.
mind was on that, because you've kind of been playing us a little bit more than you have historically. I know you're getting more looks on demo because they're coming up a lot, and I'm just was curious to how that. Do you think that's improved your game?
Oh,
Do you think
absolutely.
that's stifled your game?
I think
Because
it's
I think it
improved
can
it
do
greatly.
both. Right.
I think because demo has been our scrimmage partner all year long. We've played against them, like even at the NXL events that the Titans have not gone to. We still practice against demo to help them get ready.
Right.
And for both of us, I think just due to the level of talent in the area, we're the two closest teams, like geographically to each other, that can give each other like a high quality practice.
Right. And do you think that, what's your thought on like the higher level team? Do you think that they get a lot out of practicing you? Do you think we get a lot out of practicing you or them? Or like, what's your thoughts on that?
As far as how we have the practice structured against demo, typically it's just us two that have the field to ourselves. So with them having Grayson Goff as their coach, we're able to set things up like, hey, we're going to run this specific 90-second scenario. You're up one, we're down one, and we have to hit the buzzer. Or, hey, we're going to do this drill where as soon as someone gets to the 50-yard line, then I'm going to blow a whistle, and if you don't match it in 10 seconds, then the point ends. Like being able to set things up to like fine tune very specific things versus just like going out and playing points with no real objective.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that's something that, you look at like maybe a professional fighter, right? Guys getting ready for a fight. He is going to have sparring partners that are going to try and emulate to best as possible his opponent, right? So I think that's kind of cool. And I think it's something that we don't do as often in paintball, is to be like, if we're practicing you guys, maybe it would be better if we said, hey, we need to give you a look like the Russians. Like, here's a play, and we want you to run a gun to every spot. We want you to do this, force these issues. Or, hey, we want you to play like damage. We want you to play super tight, dedicated to your lanes. Don't break out far. Don't push the issue. Wait to shoot a guy, and kind of like coach your opponent as to how they can give you the best look, right? I think that's an interesting.
Yeah, and I think for them it helps them because like we're able to do like exactly what they think they need to work on. We help them with that. And for us, it helps us because it opens up like our mind to maybe something we didn't even consider possible on a field layout. We're like, oh, we can not only do this, this is highly effective.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, you guys obviously get to play a higher caliber team, so you're winning either way.
Right.
It's just more the like, how does the higher end team? Because a lot of time there's a stigma about it, right? It's like, well, we don't want to practice them. They're just not very good, and we're just going to beat the shit out of them. And like, what are we getting out of that? So I think it's kind of a fine line, and something that as the higher level team, you have to really look at how you're going to approach that practice and not fall into the trap of let's just go play points and beat the shit out of them, because that is like so detrimental to what you want to do, and it actually can have adverse effects, I think, when you're getting away with stuff you shouldn't be doing or playing unrealistically, because it's like, well, I'm just going to own this guy and he can't even stop me, so I'm just going to brute force everything,
Right, and absolutely. And I think to our credit, we are very solid. Like for a D3 team, obviously we're the first place D3 team. We've podiumed our last 4 D3 events that we've played. So we're like, it's not them playing a team that's 2 levels down. It's them.
Sucks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're playing a team that's getting ready to be on their same level potentially.
For sure. And yeah, that definitely wasn't a knock on either one of you guys. I mean, we love that you guys are training partners, but I'm just saying from a perspective, it's very easy to sit here and say, well, Demolition, for instance, comes up and practice us, and it's like, we're sitting right now second overall in the professional league, and these guys haven't made a Sunday in semi-pro. So why would we even practice you? Like, it's very easy to take that stance and not necessarily be wrong, depending on how you're looking at it. That's why it's, I think, very important. If you're going to do that, you can definitely be productive and get things out of it, as long as you structure the practice and actually practice the way you should be in those situations.
For sure. Yeah.
I really like those guys too. Like they air up the bunkers. They're very respectful, good players, good dudes. So yeah, it's been cool having them this year, kind of for the first time to kind of practice on off weekends.
Yeah, I think for us, same thing. I mean, the relationships obviously worked out really well on our end, not just from like the quality of practice and helping us get ready. But you know, they're great guys. They're honest in practice. They're not, you know, as soon as something like after the point, they'll be like, hey, your lane was just a hair high or a hair late, or hey, you bounced me here, or hey, this is why I stopped you, or this is why I was able to beat you because of this thing. Maybe try this instead. You know, just really, because we know like it's not like two semi-pro teams competing against each other where they like, yeah, you're playing against each other, but you're also sometimes maybe trying to hide things from each other because you might see each other.
And there's some ego sometimes involved because you're direct competitors and like it's important to win practice and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm sorry to crash your party.
Right. No, you're good. That's what the party's for.
There you go.
All right.
Anything else you want to discuss? Otherwise, I guess you can sign off and we can go play some League of Legends. Bye.
Yeah. Just I guess what do you think of the layout now that it's out?
I'm not one that really digs too much into a visual representation of a field with like on a 2D or paper type format. So it's hard for me to give you an honest opinion. I don't know. It looks cool. Dorito side looks pretty cool. Snake side doesn't look as cool, and the center looks pretty cool. That's kind of my initial like, hey, the center looks fun. Dorito side looks pretty fun. Snake side I'm iffy about just because of kind of how the tape bunkers are offset. I'm not particularly a fan of when they're slight modifications to the tape line on a snake. It's like a ladder snake, but it's not a ladder snake type deal, and those can get real boring real quick sometimes, or they can be real fun. So that's why I'm just like, I don't know yet on that side.
All right, fair enough.
What do you think of it?
I think that people are gonna. I think it is gonna play fast. I think the center is a thinking man center for various reasons, and then the Dorito side, obviously, like neither side's corners have tape presence. Like you have to get down the field in order to have tape. So it's gonna promote teams trying to like instead of just playing backline, they're gonna have to get up the field. Otherwise, they're gonna get wrapped on.
Yeah, definitely true. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. I like aggressive field, so I hope that it does play that way. But there's always someone that figures how to slow it down.
Always. I think people will figure that one out pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that just about does it. Colt, so you guys are getting ready to practice tomorrow, I guess, against you got Dynasty and Impact.
Yep, Dynasty and Impact. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we've got a couple slots at the event on Wednesday. I don't know exactly who we're practicing there, but yes.
Alrighty, and then of course at the event itself, you have the Champions Cup bye. You don't have games on, I want to say Thursday.
Correct. We play Friday and Saturday. 2 on Friday, maybe 1 on Saturday. Right. So we have one less game, which also is kind of. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the whole bye thing. I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, you know.
Right. I mean, at the same time, like if you're guaranteed top 8, you take it, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess, but we want to win, you know, like the second place shit's getting real old fast. It doesn't feel like anything other than last place, you know. It's just like it's not like, oh, we won second. Yeah, you didn't win anything.
For sure. All right,
you lost the most important game.
Yeah. So. No, I hear you there. But I mean, we're looking at the number of X Factor teams in the Champions Cup. We're definitely set up for success for next week.
Yes, sir. And I will see you soon.
Yes, sir. All right, Colt. I'll see you at X. See you on League of Legends, and everybody tuning in online. Thank y'all so much. Again, good luck to all of the Texas teams attending the NXL World Cup. All 58 of you guys. Yeah, should be a great weekend for Texas. Next week's episode, we'll see if I do one. If I do, it's going to be a live thing from the project booth at the World Cup venue, but it's not going to be anything that we're normally used to. So yeah, quick shout out to all of the partner and sponsor tier subscribers. FU Athletics, Get That Shot, Colt here, Paintball Kumite. Compete, BEMRAPs, Hydra, XTPL events, Mariachi Aguilas de Oro, Podrunners Union, SAT 3v3, 71 Designs, TexanHemp.com, and QBR officials. So we will see you guys next week, and good luck to everyone and safe travels.